Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here with Macross Plus, the movie. Um, I have to say, anybody who's coming off of our reactions, or I should even say my reaction to the OVA, and still decided to come see the movie, good on you. You're a true fan. Otherwise, I don't know. This is the second chance for Macross Plus to win me over now that I don't have the hang-ups that I entered Macross Plus OVA with, I think. Although it is working on an uphill slope. Not because of itself, just because we're recording this early in the morning. Um, I think before we start recording today, the only other thought I had in my head was the only disappointment I had with Macross Plus, obviously, other than the story writing moments that I had, was it's just I'm comparing it. I feel like to things that did the what'd you call it, a twist? Is it a
Uh-huh.
twist or
It
like
is a twist.
yeah that
Twist and a reveal, right?
yeah
Mostly the
that do
reveal.
it that
That's
do it better? Like anybody who's been watching the channel knows, like a couple of months ago I watched Magic Knight Rayearth. Magic Knight Rayearth, first season, 20 episodes, has a twist that hits at the very last two episodes, right? The entire show is one way, which is girls get isekai'd to planet, have to battle the bad guys to save the planet and the priestess from the big bad evil Zagato. Well, last two episodes, spoilers to anybody who want to watch Magic Knight Rayearth, but hey, you've had 30 years to do this. Um, Zagato is actually in love with the priestess, is trying to sacrifice the entire planet to free the princess from her obligation to keep the planet safe, etc., etc. It's kind of like the same sort of twist. And the show is peppered with very minor things throughout that could tell you that, but anybody who's just basically looking at the show won't know it until like the second to last episode what the hell's going on. So, I feel like this one, Macross Plus, does that same sort of twist, but it kind of ruins it by hitting you right from the start with not just a peppering of things, but here's the one major thing that if you misconstrue it will ruin the show for you. And again,
yeah.
I fully accept that I might be just too stupid or
Hmm.
have I or are a marginal sort of person that did misconstrue that in a way that most people don't.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say something about that because it's sort of a long running theory with me. Is that interpretation belongs to the audience, and therefore, if you construe, I mean, unless you deliberately want to say no, that didn't happen. Like there's a scene and you see the scene, it's like, oh, that didn't happen. I didn't see it, right? You're negating what's on screen completely. You have a right to interpret things a certain way, right? You're not. There's rarely a wrong way to interpret this. I can easily see how you can see this and go like, "Oh my god, this is what happened," right? And in many ways, the show wants you to believe that. So it's not like they want you to see something shocking, right? Because again, Macross Plus is supposed to be the '90s version of Macross, which is more adult, more darker and edgier, right? And we kind of saw that if people watch the movie with us, like the movie also has a kind of visuals that are like that, right? We're gonna be more graphic than we were before, right? Because we're not. This is not for broadcast television. Like Japan
I
does
think
have
I
other
did
standards.
say Aeon Flux would be fine walking into this universe.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be like that, and when you make it that tonal shift, one of the problems with making that tonal shift, especially in the 1990s, was the go-to was okay. What we couldn't do before, oh, we couldn't do sex. Sex is always the although again in Japan you can do less sex as long as long as you cover it up or whatever, right? And there's more nudity, but sexual themes are always the oh this is darker because this is the thing most people don't want to talk about. And even if you hint at it, You know, it's like, oh, right, people, it's not jumping to that conclusion. It's not a jump; it's a connection. When I saw original, it's like, oh, there was a fight or something, right? I was younger too, so I guess I didn't want to see it. But you're not wrong to go there. It's just a different interpretation. And if that was your interpretation, then that colors the rest of the stuff, right? It's you might be in the
I
minority, but it's not wrong.
I recently watched another group of reactors, and I mentioned this to you just last night because I was
Mhm.
so furious.
Hmm.
Who watched Spirited Away? And it was the worst reaction I've ever seen, coming from me, a man who's filled with hot bad takes. But um, they hated the movie so much that at the end of their reaction, they went on and on about how pretentious people will lift up a thing just to agree with each other because they could not understand how 96% of people who reviewed the movie loved it. How Steven Spielberg said it beat all other animation in the West. That sort of thing. To the point where they basically said anybody who loves this movie is pretentious and just agreeing with everybody else around them not to look stupid. And that's the point I'm trying to make here is that I recognize that my interpretation is mine alone, and I'm not
Hmm.
trying to say I don't get why people in the audience don't like this. I understand people out there might love this OVA or this movie, and I'm not saying that my opinion has anything to do with your enjoyment of it. I can, even if I find that I don't like the movie, which who knows yet, this is the second chance.
Hmm.
Even if I don't, doesn't mean the movie's bad. Just means the movie wasn't for me.
Yeah, I mean that's what a good critic does. A good critic tries to understand not only the movie, but understand the parts that people may like or dislike, whether or not they themselves like it, right? Because and I think when those people were talking about Spirited Away, they were like, "Oh, we have to shut this down," right? And I kind of done that myself, right? A little bit. It's like I see people like, especially video games, and I'm like, no, this is not a good video game. But I think the reason I would always say is like, okay, the reason why I don't consider this good video game, for example, is I don't want this repeated, right? Because then it becomes the standard. And I think that's the feeling behind it. Except that Spirited Away is a good movie. The visuals are gorgeous. um, I think the problem might have been that they came in with such big expectations themselves, and they don't want to admit it. Right? They were like, "Oh no, this must be the greatest movie ever," and it's also a phenomenon when you kind of people hype up something and you wait for the payoff of the hype, not the movie itself or whatever media, but the hype. Oh, they like this. They think it's great. So where is it? Where's the musical moment or the gotcha, scene or the high tension drama? And if you don't make that connection, you feel disappointed, right? That's the one thing I don't like about spoilers. It's the hyping aspect as opposed to the spoiler itself. Because sometimes I've seen a lot of spoilers and then I watch it or play it. I'm like, oh, I mean,
I guess
I haven't experienced myself.
you're in the camp of Griff with that then, I guess, because Griff doesn't care about spoilers. But
By a degree. I mean, I don't like people just telling me the movie entirely. It's like or whatever because it's like okay, then you just told me what's going to happen. But at the same time, if I just see something random, it's like oh, in fact, that might actually make me more curious about watching. It's like oh, that seems like an interesting content. Let me see it, watch it myself, see if it pays off or
I
not.
mean, it's funny that we come here since I just spoiled Ray Earth for a bunch of people. But yeah, I hate spoilers. Uh, I hate being told something before I have a chance to ingest it through the media, because otherwise, it's all I'll be thinking about, right? I don't know. I can't remember. There was like a good comedian who talks about going to the movie theater and buying tickets for one. I think probably Marley and Me or one of those. Basically,
Hmm.
one of those dog movies where something bad happens, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
I think I've just spoiled Marley and Me too. I mean, but where the ticket guy says something about the movie that gives the whole thing away, and the guy's like, "Why did you tell me that?" He goes, I mean, I was just talking in general about movies today, and now he's sitting through the movie because he's put
Expected.
everything together now, how it's all going to work out, and it's all he can think about, and he can't enjoy the movie now, and he's just waiting for the thing to happen. It's like that's what if you tell me a spoiler, oh, I'm not enjoying the middle bits anymore. I'm just waiting for that thing to happen because I know it and I want to know how it happens, etc.
Yeah. I'm more afraid, like I said, of the hype or lack thereof, right? People even downplay something like, or they're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And I'm like, I got to go in to watch this movie or play this game based on your hype, not mine, yours, right? And also, when I have been overhyped for experiences, they don't measure up basically. So it's not the spoiler so much unless you tell me the whole thing, right? Or there's a big reveal at the end or twist, and you're like, this is the twist. I was like, yeah, that was the gimmick of the thing. So now you spoiled that, Yeah. But at the same time, when we're doing stuff like this, those are key points of the media, and if you don't discuss them, it's like, I mean, you're leaving a big thing out. It's like, oh, no spoilers. Blah 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 blah. It's like you didn't tell me anything. Well, because I wasn't gonna spoil. It's so you just made a video about nothing, you know?
Yeah, I guess if you're releasing a video to a bunch, like if you didn't play the game and then reviewed
Hmm.
it, like in typical game review fashion, you talk about the game, and while you're talking about the game, you show
Hmm.
bits of the gameplay. In that
Hmm.
respect, you can talk about what you're showing,
Hmm.
but otherwise, unless you're doing like a let's play with a review at the end, it's really, I guess it's hard to give anything away for a narratively given game. Obviously, there's no worries about giving it all away for a side scroller, like uh, a left to right beat 'em up. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, Billy and what's that guy? I can't remember their names. Sorry, I
From
was
Double Dragon, yeah.
yeah, I was like it's Billy and some other weird ILLY name. Anyway,
Billy and Jimmy, no.
I think you probably know what the joke I was trying to make was, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm not. I'm just trying to say that I'm not out to hurt your fandom, whoever is hearing my words and taking personal offense. Because, like I said, I heard what people said about Spirited Away just last night, and I was like furious. And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of hearing what the audience is telling me now too. But I'm not going to give you a 30-minute diatribe about why you're stupid for having liked this thing. I'll give a 30-minute diatribe about why I don't like this thing. That's all.
Hmm.
And
There's a difference.
I do think it's easier to tune out a person who says, "Well, this is why I don't like a thing," than it is a person who says, "You're all dumb," and I'm going to tell you how you're dumb, because one's a personal attack, and the other one is just a rant.
Yeah. Although you do have a lot of people that do get attached to, well, their media, and they see it in a way, and it's all, I think, happens to us at some point or another, where we see a criticism of the thing being a criticism of the self, right?
Oh yeah, no, I get
Because hey,
super defensive about stuff that I like. I know I'm in that
yeah,
same boat.
yeah, so it's what I like, the good thing, good people syndrome was like, oh, this has to be good. Why? Because I like it. And why do you like it? Because it's good. And it's good because I like it, right? And so if I would say, "Oh, this thing," I mean, I encounter in my own channels like, "Oh, this is trash." You're like, "How dare you?" It's like, I just did. Of course, I dared. I just did it. You can watch the video game you want to. I just did it. It's like, what do you
I
mean?
mean, I think a good example is I had a conversation with Rafferty about anime and how I was saying that I hate it when girls in anime get pushed into the whole fan service thing,
Mhm,
especially underage girls, because it's fucking sick and disgusting. And then we moved on to my favorite anime, Gurren Lagann,
mm.
where God, I can't remember her name, but she's always boobs everywhere, butts out, and it's like, oh, I wonder how old she's supposed to be. 14. It's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
It's my favorite anime though, is I can't really take that back. It's like, well, you caught me in a trap, I feel.
And she's always has a big gun
Yeah.
or guns, as the
Well, to be
case may
fair,
be.
she does get older in the second half, but it's hardly a defense for the first bit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they
so
did that.
obviously I stand
They did.
against it on one half, and then I get accused of it on the second half.
They did a bit of a joke in Samurai Champloo about that, because in one moment there is the female. There's three of them, right? And there's a female lead, and she's running around with this sort of big boobs, and it's a joke on the internet. You've probably seen the GIF,
I watched
or
the
the
show
GIF.
before.
Yeah,
No, and
and
I,
so
I
she's
follow
like,
the G GIF.
yeah, yeah, and she then puts her hands inside a kimono. Actually, yeah, yeah, kimono, I guess. Uh, Yukata, and just throws it. There's two grenades, two bombs, and just throws them. Like she's because she's seen as attractive, right, for a girl her age, but never being over, as I remember it, over sexualized, right? Uh, for the most part. Um, and so that's a one joke that are like, oh yeah, look, we have a female lead. She has to have big boobs, and it's like, yeah, literally killer boobs, explosive boobs, because she just put two explosives on
Well,
her
yeah,
chest.
no, no,
That's
no, I
what
know.
she.
I'm just thinking she's relatively flat chested, so
Yeah, yeah,
we got a big busted main lead, and it's like, no, she's not really. It's kind of the joke of the scene.
exactly. That's what I was saying. So yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I remember the first episode, she's like locked up or something in a sex workers area.
Well, that and no, it was also it was a thing where they were intervening with some gangsters about that were also doing a lot of illegal gambling as
Damn,
well.
since
So
our
it's
main character's intro thing, I can't. Yeah, I think the
yeah,
gambling one was Mugen, and
mm,
the
yeah,
the the mafia one was I can't remember the other guy. Jin? Is it
yeah, because
Jin?
one was hired to protect the establishment, and
I
the other one
will
was actually gambling. Yeah.
I will admit some part of this is also mixed up in my head with the One Piece Wano arc, where the characters get reintroduced as members of like a Japanese society. So,
Hmm.
so I think Zoro has the same kind of reveal that Jin does in Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, I mean, Samurai Champloo is the one where has an entire episode, like 5 minutes of an episode explaining gayness and homosexuality in the Edo period. Like, no, it was perfectly nice, and the people went to theaters, and they were male, and explains all of that, and
And
you're
was that
like,
the same episode that
okay,
covered painting?
I think so. I'm not sure. I think it's just like because it has a narrator both in Japanese and in English, and the narrator goes like, "Well, this is what I tell you about,"
Yeah,
which
I
kind of
watched
ironic.
it on its original run on Adult Swim, but also it used to be on a poll here for the channel. It
Yeah,
did not win, though.
and kind of reminds me a lot of, ironically enough, Usagi Yojimbo, which is it's a shame that Usagi Yojimbo has never been a hit in Japan. All the things.
I mean,
But
it's a shame that they don't remake it in a real way. Like they were gonna make a new television show for it, and then they made the sci-fi spin-off show instead.
I never saw that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a child, I was introduced to Usagi Yojimbo from Ninja Turtles, the crossover episodes. When I say as a child, I
Mhm.
mean like the '80s Ninja Turtles, where there's
Oh
that
yeah.
weird episode where Donatello gets the painter's brush that lets him go into a different universe, and
Hmm.
there's Usagi Yojimbo and his little crossover event. Other than that, I didn't really hear or even think about Usagi Yojimbo until Sanguine Games when we did the whole tabletop thing.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
there are also a lot of crossovers in the comic books, like little panels. Like either most of the time, as the turtles go to Edo, Japan, where Usagi is, their version of the universe, where sometimes like a couple of panels, like, "Oh, here you are," and they sometimes say fight, sometimes they don't. They look at each other like, "What?" and then they just go their
yeah,
own way. So
and also for the purposes of the uh, the tabletop thing, since I helped, I think I'm listed as like an artistic aid in the book. Well, because I read the entire Usagi Yojimbo line from like Dark Horse to Image or whatever it was, um, to pick out specific panels that would work best as bits in the
that's yeah.
yeah. So I effectively read all existent Usagi Yojimbo literature.
Yeah, I think the last arc of Saga Jimbo that I read was the ninja arc, the ninja bat arc in the Dark Horse. I think that was the last in Dark Horse. I haven't read any of the Image ones.
I'll be fair, it does not ring any bells to me. I mean, that was like what 5 years ago, so
Yeah,
and my
I
memory
mean,
is not so great.
and the last comic book is that last comic he's now walking the earth with his son, right? And his
Oh,
son
that's
finds
good.
out that he is his son.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no, I think that's not even the last one. That happens in the arcs that I read.
Yeah,
because
no, but
they discover that because he goes back home, and the
mhm,
guy who's with his former love interest is like the mayor of
mhm,
the town now,
mhm,
and there's like bandits raid and everything like that, and it's one of those Usagi proves he's a badass, but at the same time
mhm.
proves that he can't stay here. The guy who's with his love interest turns out to be a good guy, even though he's painted as like this asshole the entire
Yeah,
time. And it's basically everything. He leaves, everything's painted off as this is a good thing, regardless of how it might stand.
yeah,
I don't know. The last one that really sticks in my head is Grass Cutter because it's the massive
hmm,
fucking arc that everything goes with.
yeah.
But don't have a great memory for things, though. So obviously,
I don't know. That's why I actually that's what that one that taught me about the regalia of the Japanese emperor, which grass cutter is supposed to be one of them, right? And in fact, they even recreate the reason why they call it grass cutter, which they recreate the entire scene, of the story, which is pretty cool. Anyway, back to Macross Plus.
yeah, I don't have that much to say before. Although I mean, obviously, we have talking for 20 minutes now. I don't have that much to say before we watch the movie because again, I despite how much I've like preemptively harped about don't take my negative opinions to be personal,
Hmm.
I still gonna give the movie a shot to win me back over. So I don't want to give out any preemptive opinions before that
Yeah,
happens.
what I'm looking forward is to see, just like I did with DIRL. Do you remember love? Why did I contract it and then just spell it out? I don't know.
Daryl,
Uh,
Macross,
Daryl,
Daryl.
yeah, there. Uh, I'm looking forward to the differences because I already know the story overall. So what makes the movie stand on its own usually should be the differences, right? The things that they both omitted, but also the things that they added or changed to make it into a coherent story in a movie format. So let's see if that works.
Yeah, or what they felt like they could cut. Yeah, your omitted thing, since they have more than enough material to work on.
Mhm.
All right, well, I guess without anything else, let's go ahead and get into it then.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Just so you know that this is a Japanese movie.
Well, to be fair, if a couple of stars went around that, it could have been Paramount.
Yeah, true. Same dedication.
Well, I mean, same as the OVA.
I do love this song. It's so melancholy. I mean, it's his first even opening song. But this time around, she gets a.
歌声は天まで届くと信じていた。
Because in the OVA, she was just silent. Here, she gets to say
Well, I don't
something.
think anybody was talking in the
Yeah.
flashback
Oh,
prequel thing.
yeah. And we jumped right into a.
Oh yeah, because this was like halfway through or nearest the end of the first episode. I mean, that was my complaint before the order of things or how they were presented, so it seems like we're already changing that, which is good. Volume 4
In fact,
and the movie.
Yeah. In fact, this doesn't seem like new animation at all. This seems to be like the same animation but rearranged so
Oh
far.
yeah, no, this could be compilation.
Yeah.
And I know the Gundam movies often do compilations where they add a couple of things and then they'll remove certain things, so
Hmm.
this could just be
Now
their
the one.
better cut.
Now, the one thing I don't know is whether this movie is, and unlike Do You Remember Love, it's in universe or not, right? Probably not.
I mean, if the OVA and the movie don't connect to any other show except just by the facts of them, then it doesn't really matter.
There's some connections.
No, I mean like characters and whatnot. Like
I mean, this.
that's why I said the information can be the same, in
Yeah.
which case it just applies. But if the characters don't cross over, then it doesn't really matter what the personal continuities are.
There is one character that crossover.
Don't ruin it for me.
I
Finding
will say
that
who,
stuff
but
out
there
is like one of the best things. Oh yeah, his weird X-ray vision.
Yeah, this is. I think they just re-edited the bulk of the animation, which is pretty awesome because this animation is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean we also didn't start off with Dyson's, you know, insubordination.
Yeah.
How to make that other joke? You don't want to know what his ass is doing. It still seems like it would be better if he wasn't there. I know your whole point about they could block a signal. Which,
Or data delay or anything like that. Any buffering of the because you want maximum performance. Any buffering or anything like that.
yeah, it's just the whole concept of he has to like put himself in a zen-like trance in the middle of a fight. That seems like you need.
Yeah. Sorry, unless you would have an AI in the machine and he would be a combination. Oh, PlayStation sampling. That's cool. But I'm saying that it's a drone that gets assisted by the operator
At which point you just
on
have
the
a
ground.
drone.
Yeah.
Which is what I said early on too. Well, actually not early on, maybe like episode 2.
Also, I don't remember. Oh, I guess it's because they're a dark room. I didn't remember her being so dark skinned. All of them, really. They're all
Nah, it's
little
shading.
dark.
Just a
Yeah.
shading thing. Still don't know what his plan was. At least I did point out before anything that he was going to be the instigator, if not the main antagonist. It turned out I was right.
YL19 の方もやっと代わりのテストパイロットが来たらしいぜ。なんでも軍機破りの常習犯であちこちたらい回しになってたって。もうじき飛ぶようです。ご覧になりますか。誰が来たところでプロジェクトは譲らんよ。
I think they've changed the order of this event too, right?
Yeah, because again, this doesn't happen until much later. They skipped the.
Well, I mean that was a new scene, I think.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
think they
met
met.
at the conference table before he ever gets into the YF-19. So by
Yeah.
this point, Bowman already knew he was here and going to fly.
Yeah. And this thing happens after the simulator.
Yeah.
This is the first time he flies the plane.
Newman is already well and truly pissed with this guy.
Yeah, we don't get the chase sequence, which is the whole thing where they fly together as well.
Yeah, doesn't he fly camera plane or whatever they're called before he gets into YF-19?
Mm-hmm. And he gets into an accident where he gets slammed. No. Yeah.
Okay, goes into free fall. There's all those wacky curves in the air.
Also very interesting that these fighters can actually go to orbit on their own power, which the Valkyries couldn't do. They needed these massive rockets to
Like I said, they're trying to make X-wings.
何やってんだテストメニューに従え
Oh, right, 'cause he's painting something.
Although him using the hand, that's something fighter pilots actually do. In other words, while this might seem that he's being reckless, he had already planned this out. That's what they cut back to the hand. He's not following the schedule, but he actually planned this out, so he's not as reckless.
Well, I
as
think
it
it's
seems.
also very dumb because that picture only makes sense from camera 3. So yeah, it's like walking through the Nazca lines, right? Wouldn't mean anything to you. See, this is new.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm talking about. That was peppering past information, which is what I wished they would have done with the OVA.
Mhm.
They didn't just hit us with that
Yeah.
scene.
And also tell us why he doesn't like him, right?
Yeah, instead of just a weird tension. Well, time to buzz the tower, because this is Top Gun.
YF19 はおもちゃじゃ
よー姉ちゃん、ちゃんと見てくれた？俺の流暢。大空から君へのプレゼントさ。
このけだものめ、もっと真面目に話を。
気に入ってもらえたかな？
お絵かきの時間は終わりよ。
じゃあデートの時間かな。
ミラード大佐とね。さあ、お待ちかねよ。
気をつけた方がいい。
彼はライバルチームのテストパイロットで。
ガルト。奴がテストパイロット？
Also, I appreciate that his machoism towards Lisa comes off, you know, post-landing.
大佐室へ。
He actually proved that he could do something.
Well, no, you know, he's high on adrenaline right now, so that's why he's pushing, hey, you want to go on a date? Versus just getting into an argument at a seat at a table, which doesn't seem quite as, you know, macho.
誰のことばか知っとるか。いえ、私だ。
Although, to be honest, they both seem like the character of the main guy from Top Gun, so...
Well, Iceman and Maverick. He's Maverick to go to Iceman.
No, yeah, I would say Maverick. Well, no, I just mean that Maverick in the first movie seemed like the guy who would get in an argument at a table and then to, you know, push away all the argument shit, try to hit on a girl who's at the table too. I just think it feels more natural that you do all this high-flying action shit, land, and then hit on the first woman you saw.
Yeah, this is the part you told me about. You know, the guy leaning up the truck. Yeah.
I don't want to commit double suicide with you. Let's see. That is Lisa's defining line in this, to me. Maybe what she says to him in the desert later is more impactful, but I will always remember I don't want to commit double suicide with you. I will be telling people that for years.
Dalmatian.
You know, after I moved back from Earth.
この歌、いや、違うか。
シャロンの歌だわ。来るなよ、もうすぐ。
By the way, just conceptually, this would be horrible. That he can hear these advertisement signs playing music at the speed that he's going down with all the wind rushing around him. That must mean if you're walking down the road, these things are so loud.
Or they could be replicating in the radio that he has on, which makes more sense, right? Because even inside the car,
well, then he's
Apex
the annoying thing.
Yeah,
because that means you're hearing "Rawr" going past you as walking outside the road.
I mean, those signs are annoying anyway. Just makes it even more annoying if you have to, you know, blaring sound.
It also implies that Eden doesn't have laws against noise pollution.
コンピューターが作り出すバーチャロイドアイドルという肩書きを超えて今や恋人にしたいタレントナンバーワンということですが
Everyone wants as a girlfriend.
しかし一方では感情のないコンピューターの歌声はまやかしに過ぎないと分析する専門家も
A type of narcotic, yeah. So they're already setting it up, the effect that Sharon has on people.
あ、聞いたか
I don't remember them saying that the first time, but also I would
Oh,
be
yeah.
super pissed if that was the entire setup
俺たちが
for the
回ったよな
hypnotism effect.
甘く
Was that
見ない方がいい
one line
おいおい
about being a
俺の連中
narcotic?
だってほとんどがうちのチームにかけてんだぜ
ありえないさ
では皆様3日後アトランティスドームでお会いしましょう
本日の記者会見はこれにて終了させていただきます
Only one of the main people in the scene
君は確か
will survive to the end of the movie.
はい
本当はシャロンじゃなく君自身が歌いたかったんじゃないのかね
いえ私はもう歌
Oh, this is a new scene.
Yeah, I was about to say.
シャロンはまだ未完成なのにもうこんなに多くの人の心を掴んでいますもし本当にシャロンが目覚めて一人歩きでもしたら私の出る幕ありませんわ
Oh, this is very different.
私はみんなが感動してくれれば
Well,
十分です
I think it's giving our other guy, Marge, a motivation.
I mean, I think the motivation was always there. It's just that we're not seeing Miyun's.
Well, no,
Understanding
we
of
don't
it.
know this behind the scenes thing. That they think the system is complete, and Marge is working to make the system complete.
あら
Oh, hitting on her, huh?
今頃珍しいわこの飛びリンゴの花亡くなった父がよく山の
Oh, late father, too.
たものです
君
すみませんやっぱり増加でした
Which is probably, really deep metaphor about the differences between Myung and Sharon herself.
Yeah.
And the whole status of being an emotionless singer versus a singer that won't sing due to emotion. See, here on the hill where this happened is a good place to have this flashback. Especially since we know it's one of the places that haven't changed. I think the taxi driver tells us that.
Yeah.
So I've been standing here staring at you creepily.
Yeah. Wait, it's Batman waiting for you to notice that he's there.
どうしてここに
ニュースで君を見たエデンに来てるならきっとここに来ると思ったやっぱり来たね
来たところで相変わらず何もないところね何もないつまらないところ
いつからエデンにいたんだ
昨日着いたばかり7年ぶりよ知ってるかなシャロンアップルガルドは興味ないかバーチャリティアイドルなんて私今や銀河系ナンバーワン歌手のプロデューサーってわけどう出世したでしょ
歌は
やめ
I'd have to think that Min-Mei has to be like the Beatles of this universe, right? When
Yeah,
we're-
the
we're-
OG.
Yeah, we're still
OG
singing
symbol.
her songs and karaoke and everything. She's got to be the number one best-selling artist.
じゃあ飛んでるの
ああ大空を思いのままに飛ぶ夢を実現させるつもりさ
そっかガルドも頑張ってるんだそうだコンサートいらっしゃいよ特別に入れてあげるプロデューサーの職権
It's occurred to me, but how does being a freelance test pilot even work?
I mean, I think he works for the company. He's a private, he's not a freelance.
もうよせあの時のことは
In hindsight, That's probably not a great move,
Yeah.
considering our flashback is one of you forcibly grabbed her in the past and did a thing. So when she's walking away, forcibly grabbing her and pulling her back. I don't really get why it gives her, like, apparently nostalgic feelings.
なんだ結構先客がいるぜ
あらボーマン主任
Also, I guess his bike is like a mix of Tron
久
and
しぶり
modern.
ねイサム誰私のこと忘れちゃった
ああ学園祭のアイドルミュンさんじゃねえかガールドの女になってたとはな
Oh, he's protective.
相変わらずナイト気取りかいてめえ上等じゃねえかやめて
You want to stop doing that, at least by the end of the movie. You might get hit in the face.
よくエデンに戻ってこれたもんだな。貴様には渡さない。ミュンもプロジェクトも。
やめてもうやめてよ私のことは忘れ
You know, I think, in hindsight, as it turns out, that line really applies to both of them.
Yeah.
Neither of them should have returned to Eden.
Or maybe they should have returned sooner to face their demons.
I don't know. That could have been handled like a phone call, I feel like.
This could have been an email. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. Please forgive me. I'll send you some, buy you some drinks sometime.
Yeah, or, just not stop communicating.
勝手にしなだけどプロジェクトは譲れないぜ
貴様のような裏切り者には渡さない。
I mean, it's not like Dyson had any choice in returning, so I can't really, like, you shouldn't have come here. I was ordered to come here.
Okay, I like the fact that they're mixing the test with the. Did they do that in the original? I don't know. I don't think so.
Every test was basically its own scene.
Yeah.
You and me have very different tastes in music, I feel like.
I like it.
I see you bouncing around over there. I feel nothing for this. That wasn't original.
Yeah, that was. The destruction of the monster, yeah.
The monster?
Yeah, that's the name of the mech. The MWR monster.
What I meant to imply is that I did not see that in the OVA, that it was original.
Yeah. In fact, it's based on a marine design called the Ontos, which was a little trailer.
I just remember it as being the what are they called? No, the Daedalus was the name of the ship. The things that protect the Macross that crawl across the surface.
There's a scene.
But they added like 5 seconds of new material to it.
No, I think what they put it all together because all those flashbacks are there. But
no. The scene of Myung looking at the floor and then looking up to camera that was added.
Yeah.
Because that's context that wasn't there before. Because before it was literally just camera panning in on her looking up with Dyson standing next to her. This implies I'm recovering from something and then looking up at you in a way to understand what's happened. But yeah, no, the monster thing. They were the ones that inside Daedalus that would attack every time the Daedalus punched.
No, actually, well, there's some there as well, but there's a bunch of mechs as well. So the bulk of the attack are missiles that basically detonate inside the ship and blow it
That
from the
they
inside
launch.
out.
I mean,
But
it's the same. Look, we're never going to come together on the technical aspects of this thing because I'm not paying that much attention to, like, the variations between, like, fighter craft and mech. But same things that launch the nukes in Macross Zero, the same things that are inside the mouth of the Daedalus when the Daedalus punch happens and they do the attack from the inside. That's what I saw there being attacked.
see that he's looking around going like, what's going on with
That
these
doesn't
people,
mean
right?
anything to the context of everyone else is hypnotized. Like, I need somebody off to the side having some sort of reaction that tells me they're going from normal to hypnotized. When you show everybody acting the same the entire time, that implies that they came in feeling that way. And before I get epilepsy, I'm gonna look at you and it's just and I'm gonna say the narcotic thing from before in the news announcement would serve to imply here in hindsight that they've been hypnotized the whole fucking time, not from this concert. Because the same way that we see them in the VAR panning shot when she's talking about how everybody is so enraptured by Sharon. The idea would then be served that they've all been pre-hypnotized by Sharon. In which case, they were never going to show it. I'd sooner believe that the wristbands were hypnotizing them.
サブリミナルエフェクト潜在意識に
Subliminal,
コント
yeah.
ローラーをポケティッシュパルスモードにシフト
I think the implication is that, well, I mean, they talk about subliminal, effects and all that.
Okay, you say they talk about, literally, he said subliminal in one line.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that they're talking, building it
パ
up.
ルスレベル3
Not done well. So far, if they're gonna pull the whole hypnotism thing, it's not been pulled well. Obviously, I think that's the best shot of Sharon's. I used that as the thumbnail. Because it's very much like an 80s music video.
Oh, instead of bringing a lot of stuff, he had just using his.
には関係ないことです
Pretty sure he did that the
見てて
first
くだ
time.
さい
Yeah. He being a creep, of course.
Also not hypnotized.
Kamida.
おいどうなってるんだバグかウイルスか
見つかったら捕まっちゃうわよ。
大丈夫なんたって彼女はマクロスコンツェルンが開発し
I
た
honestly don't even know what the
人工知能システム
the
なんだ
attraction to
developed by
that
the-
is. Yeah, I know. Macross Consortium.
Macross.
I've also heard that it never comes back up
自
again.
分で言うな
I'm just saying I don't know what the attraction is because it literally, when you're controlling her that way, she looks like a zombie.
どうしたのです心拍が乱れています
So they don't look hypnotized, they look shocked. So I'm pretty sure she's a hologram and can't touch anything.
Yeah.
Which means everyone has a real buy-in level to this where they're not moving and really trying to make sure that her hands.
いおいおいおいおいでシャロン
He's a real creep.
But maybe there's like a heat level sort of thing associated with this. Because it is effectively a bunch of lights being broadcast all around you.
Now that looks like she didn't want to do that. Or maybe she did.
No, we had a whole conversation about that, remember?
Yeah.
That subconscious, the same way that Ghoul's shoving the fighter jet down, which hasn't happened, by the way, was his subconscious thought, and he didn't actively want to do it. Same for her.
High-tech brain.
Final poker chip. Don't think that was translated right.
あいにく私はアリストテレスを認めていない。心は肉体に結びつけられているという彼のこと。
No, like I said, this show slash movie has tons of different layers to it, which I at least appreciate, even if I don't appreciate what they amount to. I didn't realize that the layout of this place was also a pterodactyl. It's native there.
結婚したの？誰だと思う？イサム、ガルド、モーガンのうち誰でしょう？モーガン、なんだつまんない。二人にはあったわ。
But this is a reuse, yeah.
だったけど、二人とも相変わらずだった。ニューエドワーズの基地でテストパイロットやってるみたい。そう、みんな念願叶ったってわけか。
よう、久しぶり。
モーガン、ママに預かってもらえなかったの？
ああ、うちまでは行ったんだけどさ、ちょうどバザーパーティーやってて、こいつらまで売りに出されちゃ困ると思って。
もうしょうがない人。やめなさい。
I like that she has a nice afro, both of them, like the little girl and the mother have these nice afros.
Midnight garage sale, though.
Oh. That's the thing you were talking in the background, yeah.
No. Well, I mean, I did talk about that, but before this, while she starts singing My Boyfriend is a Pilot, they do the missile launch background, which they just skipped over here.
いいね。
やめてよ。私ね、歌をやめたのよ。もう卒業したの。歌うのももう飽きちゃったし、今さら昔の歌も覚えてないしね。ごめんね。
じゃあ、俺歌おうかな。
I do not remember the Centrati fishing squad, though.
Is that okay? Yeah, these are all you know.
Again, they're just resequencing the events, which I'm fine with.
僕のジュークがオーバーホールから戻ってくるまでシャロンさんの誘拐ですよ。
Say it out loud.
肝心の部分が出てこない。
そりゃ簡単に低層までは手に入らんだ。
It was like that line.
あなたと一緒にしないでください。
Oh no, you're just creeping over a virtuite and committing what's industrial espionage.
Well, he literally says kidnapping.
Yeah.
Which implies the acknowledgement that she is alive and capable of being kidnapped.
ああ、回して。はい、もしもし。ケイト、なんだ久しぶりだな。よく俺がここにいるって分かったな。ひょっとしてハイスクールの頃から俺に惚れてたか？
相変わらずバカね。どうせまた壁に穴でも開けてんでしょ。
Is that a PDA? I don't know.
ねえ、ミュンと一緒に飲んでるんだけど。変なのよ、ミュン。歌わないの。やめたっていう。
I wonder how much of this is to blame on Newman. How much of his hacking is fucked with the program, and how much of it is the new chip.
プロデューサーなんか関係あるの？ずっと3人で仲良かったあんたたちがバラバラになっちゃったあの頃と。知らねえよ。ただ3人ともガキじゃなくなったってだけだろ。
Also, I guess in the long run, though I doubt they ever do anything with it, it also implies that if you wanted to bring Sharon back, you'd have an opening. Because there's a bunch of shit that he's downloaded on his own.
Yeah, maybe.
He doesn't seem like the kind of kid that would learn from his mistakes after he survives the end of the movie.
どこ行くつもり？ねえ。
He wasn't with her the first time, was he? I don't think so.
No, that's new.
And knowing what plays out here, unless they change it, I don't know what her being there would change either.
No warning this time, though, apparently.
Yeah. Goldman didn't show up at the karaoke place either. And I guess Dyson's going to save her instead of Bowman?
No, I don't think that's what's happening.
Well, Bowman didn't get called. So why would Bowman show up? Oh, we're just putting him in a completely different spot, that's all.
空か。ゴー！
He's still a little kid.
I guess your fingers are apart, so it doesn't look so bad.
ガンガンに G をかけてどこまでもどこまでも飛んでくと何かが見える気がするんだ。違う世界が。
違う世界。それってどんなとこ？
I feel like that has a little less impact when you're literally on another world.
言葉じゃ言えねえ。
でも
I do appreciate that they're giving Lisa just a bit more characterization now.
よし、一緒に飛ぶか。
Oh.
こちらイーグルワン発進スタンバイ。
Okay.
もう行けます。
こちらコントロール。シャワーを浴びるまでお預けです。
Well, at least he got the
イン
message.
ファンロン様はまだ戻られていないようですが。
そうですか。
And he was just out looking for her on his own. No phone call.
Yeah.
Marge, you weirdo.
Now he gets a message.
コンサート会場。
Oh, I like the heads-up display.
Alright, so the friend calls him about showing up to... And we just don't show him showing up to karaoke, he just goes straight to the hotel. Got it.
Oh.
知らね。間違いだろ。
Oh, he tired her, huh?
What a weird addition.
Yeah. Again,
Well, we
90s.
could have him at Newman's apartment getting the phone call, but what if?
Yeah. Darker and edgier.
What if we just made him more of a ladies' man than we did the first time? So I guess the implication there is that if you show him on the motorcycle heading towards the venue here, that he left Lisa behind to go save her versus him leaving Newman behind to go save her, which is two different implications. And one is more important to a desert scene later if we still do that.
Yeah. I mean, also remember when you saw the scenes, like, you had a confusion why he arrived later than Gold did.
Well, I didn't have a confusion. I just thought he was just further away or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm saying this goes further to indicate Lisa and his connection that she indicates at the desert scene later.
Yeah.
Versus them just having a couple of fun moments together and then suddenly she loves him or whatever. Or you don't belong to anybody.
It's not the fire that's gonna kill you, it's the smoke.
Gotta be fair, if the smoke doesn't kill you, the fire will.
Which is a good description of fire, because usually, oh, hey, there's a lot of smoke. Oh, but I don't want to get burned. It's like, she has to,
Well, I mean,
all this,
if you were thinking about it clearly, you would be crawling on the floor where the oxygen level is higher.
Yeah,
before you pass out.
Ouch. Yeah, this is not the original.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if this directly from the original, 'cause it seems like it's animated more. But the injuries are the same as the original.
Also, to show that he's a power. I mean, the original as well, show he's a powerhouse. Like, the centrality in him, right? That he's tall, strong.
It does, I mean, this one shows he's a powerhouse. The other one, Sharon just opened the door for him after he passed his arm in. I think it also goes a ways to say that Sharon didn't actually care which person Young wound up with. Called them both and was satisfied that one showed up.
Toyama. No, that is a nice futuristic,
Well, we have liquid
wounds.
bandages right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about like that, but we do have liquid band-aid and stuff like that, so it's just like a take current medical technology, advance it a little bit. She was wearing more than that before, right?
Yes.
Which means he stripped her out of her clothes to put her in bed.
I'll make her comfortable, I suppose.
She was unconscious.
Yeah.
She was unconscious and he took her clothes off, that's all I'm saying.
I mean, if he had stripped her naked, then yeah, I would have gone like, oh, okay, dude,
I know, I'm just making fun, that's all. Just making fun.
I think she was just wearing like an over jacket too, and like a shoulder jacket thing, and her shoes and stuff.
I just realized that she wasn't wearing the same clothes. That's all. Which also implies that he took some of her clothes off to put her in bed, but did not do anything about his own wounds. Again, knowing her memories of the past, and that she's one of the two people that remembers what happened, I just can't really understand her nostalgia for what the past was.
Oh, now we have the chase Oh, so now they change it. So the reason why he's in the chase plane is because the YF-19 got wrecked.
追跡記録の任務だけで十分です。
Which was the same thing as before.
We didn't wreck the YF-19 yet.
Yeah, no, we saw that. That's what he was saying. Oh, while the YF-19 is it's working on it, I'm going to try to hack Charon.
I don't remember getting wrecked.
And we don't see where it gets wrecked, but we do see that it is wrecked.
Yeah, no, see, it was a pointless scene. I've just been waiting for the the shot to happen. I assume that's too important not to happen again.
じゃてめえは指10本触れていいわけ。いや、足の指入れたら20本？まさか21本目の。てめえ！あとはプロジェクトの勝負をつけるだけだな。来たな。
Yeah, I remember I brought that one up before. It was episode 3. Okay, up till now, I have been on board with all of the changing of the timeline thing. But I'm not a fan of that right there. That we started with the camera plane thing, went back to them talking into the mess hall, and then back to the camera plane thing. Because I don't think that set anything up. We could have we could have just done the mess hall and then done the whole camera plane scene.
Yeah. What they were trying to do is, okay, this is, it's an ongoing rivalry, and this is why he does what he's doing, right? Why he.
Right. No, I'm saying
it could have been done more cleanly. Yeah. They could have done the whole, and then.
That's the kind of messing with stuff that made it difficult for me to enjoy the OVA, and that was the first hint of it here in the movie.
And here's what we Eternal Circus, of course, because that's the thing.
What's funny is I'm just seeing the prediction lines from Sword Art Online second season, which is ironic because ignoring the prediction lines is how Kirito in Sword Art Online succeeds there.
心配ありません。演習弾です。命中しても危険はありません。
冗談じゃねえ。ガルドのタコに買わせてこの俺にできねえやつが。
Ironically to this, the only way he'd be able to do that in the YF-19 is if he sacrificed the fold unit. Because we see that later the fold unit is just attached to the plane and is ejected later. So he literally have to sacrifice his means of getting away to safety. And they originally didn't flash back to it here, right?
I don't remember. Yeah, no, he did. Actually, he did.
I don't remember him doing it at this point. I remember more brainwave scanner stuff, which pays off later with Colonel Millard? Millard, was it?
Millard, yeah, Colonel Millard.
Doing the whole investigation about what went wrong and then shredding the evidence. Because knowing now that we know that it's literally memories that he's suppressing, makes more sense for him to be having problems with his whole flight thing. I mean, more so the memories coming back, causing him difficulties flying. So I have to say, even the movie's not doing a good job indicating that these are memories that are coming back to him.
I mean, they're using the dream sequence filter, so I think it is pretty much a memory.
No, we know it's a memory. We don't have any indication that Bowman doesn't remember it, though.
No.
Which is
I mean, it's an unreliable narrator kind of thing.
Well, we don't,
right?
like say, yeah, we don't know it's an unreliable narrator thing, though. Which makes every use of it pointless, really. I will say I think this is one of the moments that the OVA did it better than the movie. Because the OVA puts the concert scene and this scene closer together to imply that the thing that you dream about happening and the thing that you want to happen can be two different things. Putting it his closer to Myung's, meaning you can associate them. This is a good 30 minutes from Myung's concert.
YF21 のコンピュータシステムの半分は君自身の脳なのだからな。単なる事故であったとしても、たとえ恋であったとしても、大佐、人間は再生しない。
His face. Like, Macross versions of the Bacta tank.
I thought about the OVA, and I thought that here, and both times I did not say it. However, this time I was actually thinking, oh, you were super impressed by the spray-on bandage. And I don't think you ever mentioned the goo. So I can't really imagine what purpose it's serving.
I mean, if he was in a crash that he was, really hurt, then, helping him heal faster, I suppose.
I was actually trying to think if it was like a suspension medium. To keep him balanced. Also point out, we never did show him showing up at the venue after the fire.
He actually mentioned that he was like, oh, I heard you rescue somebody. But he
That's
didn't know
what I'm saying.
was...
He didn't show up and have a talk with people and find out what happened.
Mm-hmm. He was too busy flying. What's her name?
Lisa.
Took her for a ride.
All I'm saying is if there was a character from this that I would want to see in one of the future Macross ones, Lisa. She's the Lisa or Newman. I know Newman's not that great of a character, but I can see him being fun later.
Growing up from his incel era.
Right, but he also has skills that make him, seem like they'd be valuable in a later show. And Lisa would just be a fun background character. Where obviously these two have too much going on in their own lives to make me want to see them as side characters in a future show.
忘れたの？この森の奥で巨大流暢の羽を拾ったってイサムが言って、それを見に行かされたとき、
Well, that's new.
本当に死ぬかと思ったのよ。
Also, we know the bird's fucking real, so.
イ サム教えてくれなかったじゃない。
そうだっけ？
そうよ。あの時ガルドが銃を持っていなかったら。
Now we get to find out what word he hates.
ちゃんと用意周到に鉄砲を持ってるもんさ。バカな無鉄砲と違ってな。用意周到か。嫌な言葉だ。
There we go.
一体何があったの？猿も木から落ちたわけ？
お前には関係ねえよ。
何よ。人を心配。
Also, leave it to the guy who hates the word prudent, who hurt himself so badly he threw a fruit and his back hurt.
歌やめたんだってな。それでシャロンのプロデューサーか。らしくねえよ。全然らしくねえよ。
ほんと、イサムは変わってないね。あの時のままなのね。7年前、いなくなったあの時の。
Now, I don't know if the implication is these are, you know, animals that are indigenous to this planet, or that they were brought by the humans or something.
Well, for 7 years, they did not believe that this thing existed. So it's like, it's fucking massive. Also, we came here from space, which means we must have so much detection shit.
I think it's not that they didn't exist, that they didn't believe that he saw it.
I don't
You know,
know.
it's like, oh, it's like saying, oh, I saw, you know, like a bear or something. It's like, well, bears exist, but I don't believe that the bear is near us, right?
I don't know. It has the same feel of I saw a T-Rex in my backyard and no one believed me. Also, I want to point out, it occurred to me some time ago and I never mentioned it. Dyson basically sacrifices his entire career to fight the X9. And no other reason. Well, he steals a plane and runs off to Earth, not because Myung is there, no reason. The Sharon isn't even a threat yet. He just goes there to fight the X9.
I think the implication is that if he doesn't, he has to prove that piloted, you know, mechas are still a thing, because if he doesn't, he's out of, you know, the whole thing is over, right?
どういうことだ。偶然だよ。偶然。指一本触れるなと言ったはずだ。
I gotta say, it's not a good look for gold. Not that there's a lot of good looks for gold in this movie. That a guy who can barely throw a fruit without hurting himself can still kick your ass in a fight.
The translator is ridiculous, but I think that he's saying that they're stupid. Probably the connotation that stupid as in childish, and you know.
You know, on second viewing, I feel like this is a real slight against me, Min-Mei. I stopped singing and I grew up and got a real job. Do you hear that, Min-Mei?
Did they give a lightsaber sound to that umbrella?
I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering back when I said that was a genius thing, and you're like, I think they're real. So it's like, okay. You went on about the spray medicine thing. I went on about the umbrella.
うどうでもいいことなの。真剣でもいい加減でも関係ないの。私にはもう見る夢もないわ。
よせ。
もう傷つきたくないの。
Yeah, that's a real feeling though. All my dreams are gone.
傷つくのはもうたくさんなのよ。二人とも普通の大人になってほしかった。会わない方がよかった。
ふざけんなよ。勝手にいじけたこと言ってひがんでんじゃねえよ。
Now, I think now that we know what we know, I don't. He's shouting at her, but I think what he's saying is about himself,
信用しね
right?
え。そのやつ信用しね
I don't know.
Because he doesn't want to give up on his dream of flying, right? He wants to fly. What all he does is about the flying, right? And when she says, you have to grow up," he's saying, "No, I don't want to grow up," right?
I don't know. I think it still very much applies to her being like so self-centered to think that their lives revolve around her, even though they seem to revolve around her.
シャロンの歌があなた
Yeah, I
の
guess
歌
even
だ
though
って
they haven't for 7
気づい
years.
てたわ。
Although she is right though. If they had never met, how many people would still be alive?
ミュン。
一人で帰らせ
I don't think Sharon Apple would have been created if they'd never met.
I mean, she still have the emotions and all that, so but it wouldn't
Well,
be.
no. I mean, Sharon Apple being like a whole thing from her, she would have gone off on her own singing career. She wouldn't have had Sharon Apple sing for her.
その闘争本能を無理に抑圧している疑い
I mean, maybe you can argue that what's his name, the guy who gets shot in the head later in the film, might have funded the same thing. But I don't think she would have been attached to it. Well, that's a plot point that doesn't go anywhere.
お帰りなさい。
何してるの？
No, I mean, it is part of the thing that they're covering for Gould, right? That they're not,
Right, but it doesn't go anywhere. He covers for him here, and then Gold goes on to kill himself. Or, sacrifice himself, rather.
マクロスの統合本部から連絡がありましてね。
Him covering up for Gould doesn't amount to anything.
Well, because if he hadn't covered, then he would be pulled out of the program. He wouldn't be able to follow Dyson back to Earth, right?
I don't know.
地球でのコンサートが
We're doing a new timeline thing here, so
デビューです。
are we gonna get like the big military scene later, or at all? It doesn't seem like it. She's on her way to Earth, so that doesn't even come
Yeah.
into play here.
そばにいたいんだ、ずっと。俺の命は君を守るためにある。多分、ずっと昔から。
Oh, that doesn't play out well. Not if you remember what you did.
これよ。俺のお守りさ。今度会う時まで君に預けるよ。
私今はまだ。
That smile was supposed to be reassuring, but it came a bit creepy. Like, I know you're gonna be with me, baby. You know?
Well, again, he doesn't remember.
It's not that he doesn't remember. I think he misremembers what happens.
I don't know. We never see anything past it. And they say that he didn't remember. Like, his whole memory problem thing.
Well, I mean...
That's why they have to have this whole mid-air discussion about what actually happened. Like I said, it's the tie that brings everything together in the movie, and I think it's the worst handled aspect of the movie. Sorry, of the show. I mean, that is so a central plot point that even though it is, we're both still discussing about what it actually means. That's something you should do at the end of a movie. You know? Not the major plot point of the movie.
きなり無茶しないでくださいよ。最終テスト前にまた事故ったりしたらシャレになんないですから。
心配ねえよ。俺の体は飛べば治るようにできてんだ。
あんたじゃなくて機体の心配して
It's
るんです。
also an interesting choice to have Dyson absent from a lot more of the events of the movie than he was for the show.
どういうことですか。なんでいきなりプロジェクト中止なんですか。大佐。
失礼します。どういうことでしょうか。
納得いかねえな。
上官侮辱罪だぞ。
関係ねえよ。
イサム。
統合軍本部からの直令だ。
直令。
くそ、聞け。地球で極秘に開発されていた無人戦闘機が完成したのだ。
無人戦闘機。
人工知能搭載のゴースト X9 に今回の採用が決まったそうだ。君たちの解任後の処遇に関しては。
To be fair, the Ghost X9 doesn't get into, fights with its other
大佐はそれで本
drones.
当によろしいのですか。人間がもう飛べなくて。
それじゃあ今までやってきたことは何だったんですか。 YF19 にかけて費やした僕の青春の日々は。
将軍に直訴する。パイロットの意地を見せてやるぜ。
いい加減にせんか。地球で開かれる宇宙大戦終結記念式典での発表が決まった。見苦しい真似はするな。
You know, if it wasn't for Sharon, I think the Ghost X9 would have been the way to go. The Zentradi don't pull any shit like, hacking or whatever. They barely understand their own tech. The Ghost X9 would have been fucking amazing.
I mean, but other air forces could.
Could what?
Hack it.
What other air forces?
Earth forces, other humans could do it.
We're not fighting other humans right now. That hasn't even been hinted at. Except for maybe whatever the fuck the Delta War was. Now to fall down onto the desert.
It's a nice camera effect. I like it. Oh, he described it as being dumped as opposed to,
I don't know. It seems to mimic Young's futility of dreams. Like I said, putting scenes closer together in one way makes them more associated. What do you mean by that, Marge? I do hope that's something that keeps going into the future, by the way. Just coming back to show the SDF-1. I like having it around. It's a connective tissue, even if the characters aren't. Like having a generational ship or something.
I mean, it is the poster child for the whole thing. It's literally the name, Macross, so, yeah.
Right, but I mean, you can name anything Macross, like Star Trek, everything's a fucking Enterprise. I just like having the original around. Even if it's not like the main ship, just, having it in pictures and whatnot. I mean, I get Newman's ploy. He said it back at the meeting. Have I wasted my entire youth on this?
Yeah.
So he feels like he's got nothing left. You're giving Dyson a whole... oh god, now I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Folklore. John Henry. You're giving Dyson a whole John Henry motif. Gotta fight against the machine to prove that man still has a place.
Yeah.
And props to anybody in the audience that got this meant John Henry.
無駄弾撃てるかホールドで逃げ切れ
了解ホールドシステム臨界まで5、4、3、2、1、0
ダメです。すでにフォールドしています。現容機による追撃は不可能です。追撃できるのは YF21 しかありません。
ボーマンに出動を要請してくれ。
しかしテスト機に民間人では。
責任は私が取る。
ミュンには合わせない。
I don't know what the implication is that fold space does. Because you see
I think it just...
well, you know, you see the YF-19 flying through, and it looks like it's distorting the physical presence of the plane as it's passing through fold space. Like it's warping it out.
Well, literally, it's supposed to be a folding space around it, so...
Right, no, I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
We've all seen the folded paper with a pencil through it. I'm just saying that it looks like it's physically changing the properties of the plane as it's passing through it.
I think it's a CGI point.
Right, but it's also our only evidence of what's physically happening. Someone's about to get shot in the head, aren't they?
それこそまさに我々の求めていたシャロンじゃないですか。
バカな。コントロールできなくなったらどうするつもりだ。コンサートは中止だ。今すぐ回収する。
I think what's funny here is if you remember the phone call between Myung's friend and Gould from earlier in the movie, where you said, "Is that a PDA?"
Yeah.
You literally saw the call step process this thing goes through, and literally one of the steps is wait for, just wait a little bit. So if you wonder how he was on the phone for so long without picking anybody up, we saw previously in the movie, there's a wait a little while step on the phone. Like I said, I can't be super pissed at Marge. Marge is any one of my tabletop characters from a sci-fi game, where I inevitably try to betray everybody at the end to create the AI.
And here we get the
Yeah, you
the
mentioned
scene
porn
where...
a little bit earlier, so here we go for everyone's actual porn. I was also going to mention that there was a Centrati flag on the other side of the 30th anniversary thing, but not a lot of obvious Centrati in the audience, though.
I mean, I suppose it would be micronized, and so...
Right, but as you've already pointed out, Bowman has physical characteristics of Zentradi, or at least...
Yeah, the green.
Or, no, you were pointing at the ears before.
Yeah. Although here, I think everybody has more or less... No, they don't have as pointy ears as these.
Also, Max had weird colored hair, so that doesn't just automatically indicate Zentradi.
Yeah.
Unless Max was a long-term Zentradi micro this entire time.
A plant.
Which is why Amelia was so willing to marry him. He's just a Zentradi.
何もしなくていいのよ。あなたはもう何もしなくても。
どういうこと？答えて！
Now, what's interesting is that this AI plot is not I want to take over the world so much, as in I'm going to do this because I want. It's basically it's a clone plot, right? There can only be one, right? Although she doesn't necessarily, kill her right away, but rather like I'm just going to take over you.
I don't know.
I'm the real deal.
It doesn't even feel like that. I think I complained about this in the OVA too. What were Sharon's goals? Why is she connecting Myung to everybody on the radio, right? Like, there's a lot of up in the air questions. Why didn't she ever hypnotize Myung?
I think because she feels that doesn't matter.
She feels.
Also, I think it's less about the radio, more like the PA system.
I have no idea. I have no fucking idea how the hypnotism works. So, as a plot point, it's a fail on me too, but I just don't know why Dyson, Bowman, Myung, why they never get hypnotized.
Oh no, Isamu nearly gets hypnotized.
Nearly. But waits to the very end of the movie to do it.
Well, because she's in love with him.
Right, all the better reason to hypnotize him early.
This is new, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure. I mean, I didn't remember the wings either. I was thinking this is a missed opportunity to put angel wings behind the Macross. A real visual symbolism there.
自分で考えられるなら心を持ったならこんなことマージに仕組まれたことなんて私の望みを叶えるために私は動いているわ彼に会いたいの彼の喜ぶ顔が見たいの彼イサムはもうすぐ来るわだからもうあなたはいらないの
How would she even know that Isamu was on his way?
Tracking military frequencies?
I guess, maybe. If she has everybody
after all,
hypnotized.
Well, she's part of the Macross, so she can tap into it. Also, the fact is that, they would have sent a sector-wide alert. Hey, this guy stole the prototype. Let's catch him, right?
I don't know. Is the YF-19 and the YF-21 still considered top secret themselves?
It's still military property. Armed devices, You don't. Oh yeah, somebody stole an F-16.
Well, wasn't Captain Millard also trying to keep it under wraps by very specifically only sending the YF-21 after it?
No. It said that the YF-21 was the only one that could track it.
Right. In which case they didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, but still, they'll send an alert anyway.
Well, and Sharon probably a general alert, right? You don't know where this thing is going, but Sharon says, "I know where this thing is going." So
yeah, because she's predicting his behavior, right, based on what she knows about Isamu.
I don't know. So there's a lot of shit's up in the air.
I also that the suit itself can put himself to sleep.
Yeah, no, I said that during the OVA that I want one of those.
Yeah.
I would be helped immensely by a suit that I just, be out of it.
It also says the fact that he's not, Isamu's doing all the things that he's doing, he's not constantly screaming, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die," or something like that, which is...
You mean Newman?
Newman, yeah.
I mean, why would Isamu be screaming, "I'm gonna die" all the time? That wouldn't make any sense.
No.
Also, what are the projection limits of Sharon? Because it has to be the projection that's the source of the hypnotism.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, literally, the whole galaxy would be hypnotized by the radio.
Yeah, but I don't know if...
Well, it seems like the only people we could possibly say are ever affected by it are the people who see the projection. But, you know, there's 2 guards in a hallway that doesn't even apply to, I feel like, so. But, I mean, it just goes in ways to explaining why she's projecting herself through the entire city and not just the people who gathered to see it. Because she's trying to hypnotize everybody, I feel like. In which case, it's like, what if you're in the bathroom? You know, what if you're in a sealed up room? And I guess that's the answer to the 2 guards in the hallway.
And this guy really is just has a robot AI fetish, basically.
Look, I mean, I get everything about Margaret here. But, except for that last thing. The very last thing he does, I don't understand why he does it. Unless Sharon makes him do it. Like, Sharon never cared about him. And doesn't want him around at all.
Oh, yeah. I was like, well, he's just... Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Oh, well, I mean, he's the one that actually knows how it all works as well, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems like you'd want him around to repair you if something went wrong, but I just mean, like, if her ultimate goal is, Dyson?
Oh, this is a new scene.
Yeah. Cool. At least we're just adding to his backstory about, you've got a pocket full of idiocy or whatever it was called. I appreciate that one from the sense of it adds to the Colonel's backstory. Not so much from the, hey, let's fluff up Dyson a little bit more before we end this thing. I feel like if Newman hadn't put himself to sleep, he would have passed out right now anyway.
Yeah.
Because we can hear Dyson, like,
almost, straining on the keys,
yeah. There's no chance in hell that Newman would be able to... At the same time, it is kind of funny to consider that Newman's body is just unconscious back there and somewhat strapped in, so he's like, yeah.
That's not because if you're the kind of person that any outside stimuli... I mean, I suppose that he's in a suspended animation, so he doesn't feel it. But if he just be dreaming, like, would his mind interpret the inputs like, oh, I'm in a roller coaster. Oh, that's fun.
I don't know. He's gonna be so out of it that I don't even know if he's dreaming. I mean, they both ran off 7 years ago. Oh yeah, technically, Gould may not have run off 7 years ago. Myung and Dyson both ran off 7 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no indication that Gould ever left the planet. Which I guess is also the most sympathetic thing about him, is that to him, who's got this faulty-ass memory thing going on, it just seems like all of his friends left. You better hope everybody went to the concert when they got hypnotized, otherwise you're killing so many people. And we never did do the loaded gun scene, did we?
No. Which makes sense. I mean, it would be twice what he gets injured, right?
Well, that follows through. That follows through with the we didn't get the military tribunal thing, which is why I said that the Colonel Miller shredding the beta wave documents doesn't have any payoff. Here in the movie, it has no payoff. He shreds them for no reason because the military tribunal never happens.
But at the same time, they were being economical. You don't need to have twice, Isamu get injured when you just have the one sequence that will just do it for you.
Right, but I just mean that you could have cut out the Colonel Miller thing too. I guess they didn't need to cut that much stuff. At some point, though, I would have liked to know what the conversation was about. I feel like they could have added so much more to that. Like, what if she was talking to Isamu because she was wanting to settle down with Gould, but didn't know if she could really commit to it, and they were like, having a heart-to-heart about that, and then Gould goes off on a rampage thinking the wrong thing? Because that would have added so much more heartbreak into that whole thing. They could have done so much more. See, he told you. He said he blocked his memories out. Just so happened I also didn't turn my radio off, so that Dyson knew that I was cool and wasn't going to keep trying to kill him.
I mean, the moment, why would you turn the radio off? Also, I like the reflection. Actually looks like the birds, right? The...
マジになるなよ。ガキの頃よく人力機で遊んだだろ。エンジンを切って風に乗る。名付けて必殺流暢飛びだぜ。
Also, I don't think I would have heard Bowman's diatribe over the radio and thought we were just cool. Because at the end of the day, wasn't he sent to stop Dyson either way, regardless of your emotional shit?
Yeah, but Isamu wasn't trying to fight. It was almost a one-sided affair, right? He was trying to
no, he literally used all the bullets of his gun trying to shoot Bowman down.
Yeah, but he was doing it because he was forced to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he was fighting back.
Yeah.
I'm saying that Bowman was sent here to stop Dyson. No, it's the same scene. He smashed his plane. Yeah. They're going back over the shit they did before 7 years ago.
すまん。まだあるんじゃないのか。
I'm saying Bowman was sent here by Miller to stop Dyson. So this doesn't change anything, really.
Oh, the realization that they really are friends.
Cool. You remember how Bowman just realized that he did something really horrible to the woman that he loves? Doesn't make any sense. By the way, thank God the X9 has waited till now to interject.
やっと会えたぜ。おい、起きろ。ガルド、俺のデート相手だ。お前は手を出すな。
こっちのセリフだ。
歌、まさか。
What was that? Newman's the singing she couldn't be. Newman believes a concert is supposed to be happening right now, right? So what was he implying?
That Sharon Apple is in control of the X9, basically. That's like, what? No, it couldn't be.
How would...
Macrossのメインコンピューターまで。
Is the X9 broadcasting a song? Is that the implication?
Yeah, apparently.
何言ってるんだこいつ。完全に暴走してる。ゴーストもシャロンが操ってるんですよ。何？
待ってたの、イサム。あなただけを。
ミュウは
ただの抜け殻。歌うことも愛することも私に託した。ただの白い塊。
何をした？ミュウはどうした？
Literally nothing. She's literally running around inside of me as we speak.
That's gonna take a while.
もう何も私たちを隔てるものはないわ。
てめえ。行け。巻物は俺が始末する。お前はミュンのところへ行け。
ガルド。
どんな時でもミュンを守る。それが俺たちの誓いだろう。
Fucking zombies.
Well, at least they're not very good at their job.
Well, as I said, they stood in the elevator doorway, letting the elevator close and open on their guns for, I don't know, 30 seconds? That's why I said they're acting like zombies.
ミュンはお前を待ってるんだ。行って必ず取り戻してこい。
どの道お前にゴーストは倒せん。
何？
その方が賢明かもしれません。
お前まで何？
おたおたするな。
たくどいつもこいつも。後で泣きつくなよ。
See, the thing is, even if Sharon took over the Macross, I mean, you know, flew it out into space and everything, you'd figure the Macross would be so outdated at this point.
I mean, still has a gun that could probably destroy a city with a single shot, so...
So does every Centrati ship. I don't know what that means. Marge was not a big fan of Tubi.
Yeah, no, but she's a threat because she could probably level a city, right? You know, you don't armed by an AI.
I just mean that we're literally in a galactic war, to my understanding. the beginning of the OVA right now with a group that every one of their ships can do the same thing.
Well,
I mean,
again, I
what's
don't
one
think that the
more?
Centrati are in the same strength that they were before.
We literally only defeated one of their fleets to our knowledge. I don't. Yeah, it has to be hypnotism. I don't think he did it himself. I think that's what's meant by having Sharon's face down there on the bottom when he's diving into it.
なんだマクロス動いてる
Yeah, I'm not saying the Macross isn't a threat. I'm just saying that it is like, I don't know, any old technology being put out there. That it would be more easily defeated than any newer thing that's on the field.
Also, the symbol that it represents. Imagine like the Statue of Liberty starts flying off. Somebody stole it. I was like, what the hell?
Ghostbusters 2, you mean?
Yeah.
うるせえ望むところだ
I don't know, that would be a pretty interesting anime, I feel like. No, wait, that's just G Gundam.
Yeah.
Symbols of our cultures fighting one another. God, now I really wish G Gundam had used the Statue of Liberty as the American mech. Lost opportunity.
どうなってんだシャロンですシャロンがマクロスを乗っ取って何シャロンを止めるにはマクロスの情報ネットの中枢を破壊しないとどこだそりゃ
Speaking of lost opportunities, they really should have done a whole the Sharon holograph model around the Macross, as though she was the Macross.
わかった急所はメインアンテナの後方直下 13D
イサムなの
That's right, drop the gun, don't shoot Sharon.
イサム
You know what's better than a gun? A glass table.
I mean, she eventually will use the gun.
Again, it's one of those things I just don't understand why Sharon let, like, all this shit right in front of her happen.
シャロンのネットにウイルスをぶち込んで混乱させるできるのか愚問ですよっし
Sure, I
ゃ
saw it in this old movie called Independence Day. Should have shot out the wires, I feel like. I understand that Sharon herself seems to have made herself a bulletproof container.
どうしてこんなことに
あなたが望んだことよ。感動を。この世の人々一人一人にふさわしい感動を与える。愛する人の望む夢を叶えて最高の感動を与えてあげる。それが私の生きる証だと。
どこがよ何言ってんのよそんな馬鹿げた感動なんてどこにもないわ
イサムが求めたのは遥かな空よ。命がけで大空に挑んだ時生と死の狭間に垣間見える感動。私はイサムにその感動を感じてほしいだけ。 あなたはこうかったの？イサムが自分より大空が好きだって認めることが。
Did she say that the first time around?
I don't know. I don't remember. And I remember in the sense of I don't know if I'm remembering the AOV or just seeing it right here. So I know this is the first time it happened, so I can't tell the difference.
I guess I only have one question then. Do you remember it well? I just don't remember having that that implication being thrown out before that Isamu loves flying more than he loves her. Although this show / movie hasn't spent a lot of time implying that Isamu loves Mion. He spends more time with Lisa. So again, I don't know why she's broadcasting this to Mion. Or making it a two-way conversation. This is different. Oh, the fact that the X9 is pushing itself just as much as Gould is. He didn't need those. Fucking brutal, though. Sorry, we just didn't. Okay. I was like, did we just imply that he destroyed?
Oh, he's dead.
Oh, he was dead before this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the implication that his internals were liquefied long before his eyeballs exploded.
Yeah.
I was worried there because it looked like X9 shot him down. It's like, do we just negate his sacrifice altogether? Then we got that, and I was like, okay. The back half of that made it all worthwhile. Also, that's my favorite version of Sharon, of all the 3 Sharons that we get. By the way, a programmer that knows what a hologram is, that's makes no sense.
No, but I think he's being affected mentally. That's what's happening.
Right, but he still pulls a gun on the hologram.
See, that did happen in the original when you were asking whether he survived or not.
Well, he turned out to be so not integral to the back half of the show that I just forgot about him completely. Turn your radio off.
I don't think it's just a radio. It's been all the data links and all that. I mean, this is data. This is not just simply.
Yeah. Say turn it off. I mean, obviously you can't turn off the holograms that are being displayed all around you, but you know, don't hear the song. However, we're thinking that the hologram is the thing that mind controls you, then I guess it doesn't really matter. Did not spend any money on the city. I think that's where we ran out of budget. Kind of a 2001 effect. Like I said, I don't understand why Sharon connected Myung and his radio together. Unless we're not going with that this time?
No, we are.
Sorry, I thought last time it was when she screamed out Samu, and that's what broke him out of his reprieve.
Remember, she's still very much the idol, the songstress, right? That's her weapon. That's her ability in the story.
Right. No, I mean, I get it. It's her song that she used to sing. I guess for the school.
Oh, that's so cute. Three of them together.
How did you not believe he found one when he's literally holding the feather? You're all holding the feather. But no, remember she was like the talent queen or something at the school, a fair or whatever it was. That's probably the song from back then.
Ouch.
Also, how'd that break? Okay. How'd that break the hologram? That's fair. I still don't again, if Sharon had not connected their radios together, he would not have broken free. But I had no understanding of why she would have connected the radios together at all. Why are you swiping at him with holographic hands? They say this is the worst version of the Cowboy Bebop episode Brain Scratch that I've ever seen. I do think you could combine those two together, though. You know, just a scene of Spike shooting at the screens, and then her getting all depressed and.
Sharon.
She wanted to be a real girl.
間違えたのよ。あなたは方法を間違えたの。取り返しのつかない間違いを。きっと私も。
This is a new scene.
I mean, it's all new. The whole ending's new so far.
Not at this point.
Well, man, I feel like an idiot right now. Because I thought he just crashed his plane into the Macross. What crashed into the Macross? What did he launch at the Macross?
Had a couple of weapons. I don't know what he did.
Something rammed into the Macross, hit its computer brain thing, and blew everything up.
Yeah.
I thought he rammed it, didn't he?
It looks that way.
Yeah, but he's there in a plane, so he's fine. I was literally just thinking they changed the ending and Isamu was dead.
聞こえたんだ。一つ目の言葉は夢眠りの中から
I am in so much trouble.
Yeah. But he did save the day. So I guess he doesn't get.
How many people did he kill in a shootout through the city? Yeah, no, I legit thought they were changing the ending. I thought Isamu rammed the Macross himself, and that he was dead. I was ready to change the board. Hey, the borderline. The hat does go no favors.
I think it's a helmet, basically.
No, it's a hat. It's the same one that Mion was wearing backwards at the very start of the flashback. I made the joke last time it was the King of Fighters hat because it looks exactly the same. I doubt there's a massive crossover though between Macross fans and King of Fighters fans.
What's the character that wears it? Bogart? Yeah.
Sounds right. I don't exactly remember it myself. I'm not a massive King of Fighters fan. I just watched the movie once in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah.
Dr. Movie, always around. I mean, you watch stuff that comes out today, and Dr. Movie's there, so I know nothing about what Dr. Movie is. I just see it in all the credit scenes.
Let me see. I don't think it's Doctor Movie. Let me see. DR.
Well, DR Movie. He got his
Animation
PhD.
studio.
He got his PhD in movies.
It's an animation studio from South Korea.
Okay. So I'm willing to say that the movie, I feel like, was better than the OVA. But again, that could be just the effect of, hey, these real crew. That could just be the effect of understanding the flashback sequence that I felt was...
Yeah.
Yeah. That I had so many thoughts about before. And they do it slightly differently, that I feel like they do at least pepper a little bit of it in. Like, they give us more scenes of it. But even then, I feel like if I watched the movie, I wouldn't have understood. I wouldn't have understood the hypnotism, and I wouldn't have appreciated the flashback thing again. It's a poorly done, unreliable narrator thing, I feel like.
We also get more of them as children, like they're holding, holding that giant feather, right? That they were really friends, and this broke them apart, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that too. I like the added material for, I want to say maybe 90, 95%. I like the restructure of the timeline. Like I said, my only real drawback there was I didn't like how they separated the concert setup thing where Mune is getting her brain scanned and Bowman's plane trial thing. Because again, I thought having those scenes closer together made you or helped you associate the brain pattern thing better. Separating them out disassociates you from that.
But overall,
again,
I
very
think
confused.
The movie.
Very confused by the crashing thing to the point where I am shutting the thing off for the overlay so people can't see me go back and try to figure out what the fuck, who crashed into the Macross.
Well, I
It's
think
him.
also the fact
It's him.
Yeah, yeah, but here's the thing. I think also they shown both aircraft have the point defense system that the Macross have, the shield. So he might have used that to crash without getting.
14710 is the
Yeah.
time code of him literally, right at it. And the next thing we see is the crash. Alright. Yeah, just for the sake of people who are watching, I went back to 14704. I'm playing that again. It's literally him charging shield forward, and then he goes right through the fucking ship. So is the implication that the shield that he has is basically like a Daedalus punch?
Basically.
So now our X-Wings also have the power of pinpoint shield that he never used in any fight up until that point.
No, because we see both of them. We see, for example, that if you go earlier, we see the YF-21 using it when he's getting blasted, and when they're having a fight, he throws one of the shields away and it explodes.
Do not remember that. The only time I have of seeing anything with a shield was literally when they're in their shootout in the city. And he just has the shield up. It doesn't glow yellow or anything else that the pinpoint shield from the Macross did in previous times. The implication here, it didn't glow yellow.
No, but that's the functionality of it.
Again, this is just shit that you're saying. Look, if this was Rafferty here, he would say you're making that up. This is the arguments that I've had with Raph, by the way, is that I will say, well, it makes sense that this would do this, or I think it's heavily implied that this is what's happening. And you're saying, well, they didn't say that, you're just fucking making that up. And it's like, I guess fair enough. I guess at the end of the day, I am making it up. They didn't say that. Well, The same thing here. The implication is the shield is just a piece of metal that's blocking bullets and now can ram through a ship. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. Although I guess it doesn't take much away because what does it matter if Asumi survives at the end of the movie?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a hero that lives, right? He gets to live. You get your happy ending at the end. Remember,
It's a bit of bullshit to Bowman. I guess that's it. But then
I mean,
again,
it's a romantic triangle. This movie clearly focuses on the romantic triangle as the aspect of it, right?
I
With
gotta
everything else
say,
being about background. So
I gotta say, then I appreciate SDF Macross's romantic triangle more. It was, it was a lot more teenager in high school, but I feel like it was more fun to follow, right? It's like if you took uh if this was a romantic triangle in The Wire versus a romantic triangle in Saved by the Bell. I think I'm gonna prefer the Saved by the Bell romantic triangle. It's more my theme of things, right?
oh, okay. Yeah. I would lean on The Wire, except
Yeah.
for that part. That part where that guy got. Never mind.
Now
I'm not gonna
here's
go
the
there.
thing. I didn't actually watch The Wire. I just know that it's more high tension, high strung, like shows like that in that era too, like The Shield and everything like that.
Mhm.
I think I watch shows just to be happy and have fun, right? I mean, I do. I like Breaking Bad and all that shit, right? I just got to be in a mood for it. And I think certain kind of stories lend themselves better to different media. Like,
Mhm.
Zach, his relationship with his friends works well in Saved by the Bell. Versus
Mhm.
I'm not going to watch, like, Breaking Bad for a love triangle. Like, that was the storyline I didn't like the most in Breaking Bad. Was literally when, what's his name? Jesse. Jesse and his
Mhm.
girlfriend that eventually kills herself, throwing up in her own mouth. Like, that
Yeah.
whole that was like the worst storyline for me. I was not invested. If John Delancey didn't show up, that would have been a total write off. I was there for John Delancey,
Uh,
air traffic controller dad. But yeah. So that gives my presence of mind into scenarios like this. I would want to watch this for the drama. Well,
mhm.
I'm not a big drama guy either, but I would watch this for the drama and for the military aspect of things. The dog fights and whatnot. I would not want to watch sorry, choking up a little bit there, a romantic triangle in this scenario. Whereas I think it worked better, and obviously you said it was your worst part of the SDF Macross thing. You didn't like
Yeah.
how it kept going on and on. I think that's where it settles into my mind is that I think about SDF Macross that way. SDF Macross is my Saved by the Bell, and this is my Breaking Bad. And you would
Yeah.
say, Breaking Bad's a better show than Saved by the Bell. What the fuck are you talking about? And I'd be like, that would be true. In any other situation, that would be true. But I guess if you're like, I'm going to sit down, eat my Saturday morning cereal, and watch a show, I'm not going to sit down with Saturday morning cereal and watch Breaking Bad. I'm going to watch Saved by the Bell. See what hijinks Zach gets up to this week. What's Hikaru gonna do with Misa and Minmay this week? Not
Yeah.
is Bowman gonna fucking blow his brains out with high gravity maneuvers? You know?
Yeah. I mean, again, Macross Plus was, and it's one of the reasons why, in many ways, I didn't want to watch 7, because the bits I saw about 7 were kind of more silly, and it was like, oh, we're going back to. It involves rock guitars, basically. It's just like, if you've seen any shot of Macross 7,
I've
you
not
know
seen
that's
any
that's a,
shots of Macross 7.
yeah.
The only thing I have
It
of
just
Macross 7 is literally the logo, so I can put it on the
yeah.
schedule.
Yeah, it gets, at least it looks originally silly, but now looking back at it and input, especially from the viewers on this, it's like, well, we're gonna see it, and I'm gonna give it a shot. But I'm again, I guess the history with me is that when I saw Robotech, it was supposed to be the grown up cartoon. It isn't. It's a more teenager slash preteen cartoon kind of thing, but not for little kids, right? Oh, you have war, you have death, you have romance, right? As opposed to like, oh, the villain of the week, we're gonna punch him in the face. Oh, here comes Megatron, or Starscream saying, "I'm gonna betray you." It's like, oh yeah, you try to do that like a dozen times, right? And so it kept growing up, and then Macross Plus shows up, and it was like, oh wow, this is even more adult, right? And so that's kind of the impression. I still like it, both for the mecha porn as well as for the storyline. But again, I said this many times before. Doesn't just because I've seen it before and I like it doesn't mean it doesn't have flaws, right? It could have been done much better.
I mean,
And in many ways,
it's very much of
they
its time.
yeah, it has a lot of try hardiness as well.
Well,
Ironically, they dial it up a little bit back, trying to be so dramatic, so traumatic. Oh my God, this thing happened. I was like, yeah, maybe this was slowly revealed it. Then yeah, it would have
I
been
mean,
better.
like you say, it's of its time. Which isn't to say I don't like stuff like this. My very first anime movie that I ever bought was Armitage the Third, which I guess for modern anime audiences, if you've seen the trailers, or maybe I think it might even be out now. Metallic Rogue is a current anime that's running. That I said when I saw the trailer that reminds me heavily of Armitage the Third, and Armitage the Third kind of has the same art style as this because I think it came out around the same time, maybe a little bit. I don't know, I think it might be the same time. Anyway, also very drama based, very character focused on backstories and interpersonal relationships, and I loved that back in the day. I think the thing that might be drawing this down is that comparison I was just making between like the feels of different shows. That Armitage doesn't have something before it. Like there was no half-hearted, jokey version of Armitage. It goes super serious from the start, and I don't feel like, even though SDF Macross had a serious kind of story, right? The destruction of the human race, our place in the universe, what culture means to us. It was played in the midst of a love triangle that did not feel as serious as the material it meant to cover. Whereas this did not have that light-hearted aspect. Even when Lisa and Dyson are flying around on a motorcycle, it still had that. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like their relationship had a thickness to it that made me feel like 90210. Like even when we're laughing and having fun, I feel like anything could happen at any moment that would be like a soap opera spin. So it's of its time, whereas
Yeah.
SDF Macross is of its time. And it's hard for me to make that jump from light-hearted 80s drama, I'm going to say. Because, again, it does cover some serious subjects, even though it has this feel of fun hilarity times. I mean, even
Yeah.
when Misa's like flashing back to Ryber, staring at what's his name? K name. Um, wait for you to help me out
Uh,
here.
Kaifun.
Yeah, staring at Kaifun, who don't look the same, but she's getting like flashbacks. And you and me are just laughing about it because it's funny, but it's written in the moment to be serious.
Uh huh.
So obviously we're taking it as funny, but even though the show's taking it serious, there's no equivalency in Macross Plus. There's nothing that is written serious in Macross Plus that we look at it and that's funny, you know? Maybe it's
Yeah.
the art style, maybe it's the weight at which they carry the characters. I don't know. It's more real, it feels like.
More grounded. A little more
I don't know
grounded.
about grounded, but real, I would be more to say real than grounded. Grounded, it would feel like I could walk down the street and see people with this kind of problem. Whereas real is like, well, what if we took real people and threw them into this? What would they do? They'd probably do something like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like that's my big takeaway. The differences between. Also, again, I do think I liked the movie more because I think the added material adds to the parts that I had problems with, but at the same time, my main problems remain. So I would still put this beneath SDF Macross.
I mean,
Um,
it's like going from Saved by the Bell to Showgirls, right?
which
If
at
you know,
least one person did.
exactly. I mean,
You eat
I like
cat
them.
food? I eat cat food too.
I like separately. I know they're part of a bigger franchise, but I don't tie Macross Plus because Macross Plus doesn't. I mean, it has the plus in it, but it's not meant to be a sequel either. It's just another story that happens in this universe, right? It's like, hey, there's other people, other things have happened, right? Yeah, we did the story of SCF1. Okay, that's fine. Now we're talking about these guys, and then next time we'll go to some other people, right? Um, as opposed to be like, oh, remember what happened in SCF1? Well, these people have direct ties to that, right? And whatever you thought about, if it been a direct sequel to it, I would go like, yeah, those comparisons would be being more valid. But the fact that also there's a time skip and that we have the movie, which again they hyped up the at least the violence, right? Um, so it's like, oh, this has to be a little more mature, right? Because it's a movie. Um, shows a sort of transition that you know that otherwise it had come out of the blue, or if they had been trying to say, oh, this is a direct sequel to SEF1, and it was the same characters, right? It was Misa and Min Mei, but now Min Mei is like completely broken, and we have scenes of I don't know Kaifun beating the crap out of her or something like that. Not that I'm, it was like, oh God, what the hell is going on here? That didn't happen in the original. What are you doing, right? That I think would have been more of a shock, right, to me, because it's like you're taking the same material and the same characters, and just sort of say, oh, now we're going to be darker and edgier. That would have been a problem for me. Overall, and I mean, we're still talking about the archetypes, right? The young pilot who just wants to fly. They took the archetype and were like, oh, now we're going to have to do that. So
I mean, they
yeah.
made that his
Oh,
defining feature to the point where the AI wanted to give them that forever, I guess.
yeah.
By the way, how many have we seen so far? We've done SDF Macross, Do You Remember Love? Sorry, we did Macross Zero, SDF
Mhm.
Macross, Do You Remember Love? Macross Plus OVA, now Macross Plus the movie. So 5. If
Five.
you
Yeah.
had to rank them, now that you told me that you don't consider them all part of the same thing,
Mhm.
but if you had to rank them as members of a franchise, what's your order?
I still go for
1 to
SDF1
5.
because yeah, SDF1. Well, I guess I would lump the movies. I mean,
They add stuff. I think you have to do the movie separate from the series.
So if we're talking about series SDF1,
Especially Do You Remember Love, which fucking changes the landscape.
yeah, um, SDF1 the series, SDF1. Do you remember Love the movie? Macross Plus the movie, Macross Plus this no Zero, and then Macross Plus the series, the OVA. And also, by the way, also Zero, it also gets darker too. By the way,
Not
yeah,
as
we have the
dark.
younger. No, I
Again,
mean,
of its time. Of its time. Macross Plus is
yeah,
clearly a 90s thing, and Macross
yeah.
Zero is clearly a aughts thing.
Yeah, so it takes that darkness and pulls it back just a little bit, but clearly is not a repeat of what's happening or trying to revive the 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 spirit of the SDF macros because a child gets brutalized, with her taken in and lied to. I mean, there's a lot of death and destruction. They blow up half of the island with one bomb. We talk about scenes of torture. What was the main
But it
character's
doesn't
name?
focus on them, though. Literally, they
Yeah,
firebomb at the end of one episode, and it's done by the start of the next episode.
it reconceptualized the anti-UN war or World War III as being
Well,
even
you
more
say
brutal.
it reconceptualized. For me, it conceptualized. Is again my
Yeah,
first bit.
no, but no,
Just to
because
be
it
clear, though, yours is SDF Macross the series. Do you remember Love? The Macross Plus the movie, Macross Zero, and then Macross Plus OVA. Okay. So I would go Macross Zero is my number one. Like, I think I enjoyed that the most of everything. SDF Macross, the show. For all of my problems with it, I'd probably put Macross Plus the movie next, and then Macross Plus. No, then Do You Remember Love, and then the OVA. I really did not enjoy Do You Remember Love as much as you'd think. again, I think I enjoyed this movie more than Do You Remember Love. I think I just had a lot more negative things to say about Plus versus a lot of Do You Remember Love was just meh to me,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it a lower rank. I would enjoy something I had more of a problem with because it makes me feel stuff versus Do You Remember? And again, Do You Remember Love? I did not a fan of the changes that they made to the storyline. So if I have to rank SDF across the series so high, Do You Remember Love has to fall down, in my opinion, because if you, I don't know how you can like the same story, or not the same, how you can like everything from one and like everything
Mm-hmm.
from the other. It just seems like an
Yeah.
odd. But yes, we have the board. Think I fixed everything because obviously
Yeah. You,
Sharon becomes an enemy. Although I guess I put a red line here and she wasn't a red line. It felt like she was a red line in the show, but in the movie, I don't know what the hell that's going on. I'll
it's
just
still a red light because she's just obsessed with Isamu, right? So
right,
it's
but she
not
wanted to make
like
him happy.
yeah, but it's like a stalker says that she wants to make you happy. It's not good.
I think the movie I
And
was trying to refer to before was Perfect Blue. Did we ever figure that one out?
now I would change Myung to be a love thing between Isamu and Myung at the very end. So there's that.
One last fuck you to Bowman. Sure, why not?
I mean, I mean, the movie they literally are together at the end, right? And
Well, they're together at the end, standing on top of the Macross. It's just more of a. This is where the survivors of the movie wound up.
yeah, but the implication is that yeah, she
That's
was in
like
love with him,
implying
and
that Will Smith's character and oh god, what is his name? He was the main character of The Fly.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's implying
Yeah,
that both of them are in a relationship at the end of Independence Day because they're both standing outside the crash ship.
no, but the implication here is that her singing brought him back. Because he said so, you brought me back, you snapped me out of it. So there was that emotional connection between them. And clearly Sharon was mimicking the fact that she felt strongly against. Now, in fact, my original interpretation of the flashback was, and there's nothing to support it here, but that was my first intake, was that in fact, uh, Miyun um, and that may be from the English dub, perhaps. Miyun and Gold were in a relationship, right? And then when he walked in on them talking, Isamu talking to Miyun talking to Isamu, he got jealous, and that's why you know, he
I
went
mean,
on
I
rampage,
basically
right?
said the same thing when I was interpreting it
Yeah.
during the movie. That maybe she was thinking about settling down with Gould, but then she was having a conversation of backtracking. Maybe she didn't think she could, and then Gould misinterpreted it in the moment, and then has that explosion. But again,
Well,
nothing
even
explains why he ripped her clothes off.
again, even if he had misinterpreted the fact that he lost control, right? And he
Again,
just says, "Did I go insane?" Right?
they barely even covered the medical thing.
Yeah.
So the movie decides to add the text of "Am I going insane?" and doesn't cover the whole Zentradi need to take medicine to handle
I think
their
he
weird
has
shit.
to. We don't see other Centrati having to take
Again,
medicine.
last thing we discussed was the whole sample size of one. So,
It could go either way.
but yeah, no, I mean I'm up in the air on the whole their relationship thing, given the um, given that he's tied mostly to Lucy during the movie and or the even the show, and doesn't really seem to care that much. Like it seems like his
He doesn't.
fighting about Mion is more about his rivalry with Bowman than her.
Well, I think his attitude is. I think it's supposed to contrast with Bowman. Bowman being very possessive. He's like, no, she's her own person, right? Why should I be? He's not obsessed with her and possessing her. That's a dark side of Bowman. Is not merely his anger, is his possessiveness. I gotta have the project. I gotta have her, right? You belong to me. And she's like, I mean, I like you, but you know,
Like you said, I think it's just a product of their rivalry
hmm
that he doesn't seem to care about her during the anything. Like, even in the show, when he's like off by himself before he gets like reassigned to Eden, he's not like,
Mhm.
I wonder what Mion's up to. He's
I mean, he's
literally
been savvy.
flirting with Lucy and then flying down the road in a double suicide attempt and says,
Mm.
I remember that voice. You know, it's just a thing. It's a passing thing to him. I think Bowman's actually the only one that cared for the long term. He never left the planet. I mean, to any indication, anyways, that we get, he never left the planet. She left after 7 years ago, apparently. He left. Bowman's
He
like, y'all
joined the
fucking left me.
Yeah, he joined the military, so yeah.
Yeah, like the next year, if we remember the whole read down on his chart thing. Because I was specifically looking for a charge on his criminal record based on what I thought was happening.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna leave it on there, the whole romance thing, because you seem to be pretty strongly about it. But for me, it just feels like a passing fling that he's just gonna go back to Eden after this. Well, I mean, for court martial, maybe. I don't know. It's up in the air what like happens to Isamu after this.
Yeah.
He is in trouble.
Mm.
And what the hell happens to Newman as well? Any other things on the board though that you think should be changed?
Not really, because we don't have a huge cast of characters, and whoever dies, died, and that's it.
I feel like the changes to the movie aren't as drastic as Do You Remember Love to SDF Macross. That like, they could stick easier than anything else. Well, I mean, like before, I forgot to cross out Sharon as being dead. But again, I said they left the door wide open for the possibility of bringing Sharon back. I'm assuming they never will. I'm assuming none of this ever gets addressed ever again. But the
Yeah,
fact,
Macross Plus was a one. Well, with the movie, basically was a one-off.
yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah.
obviously, don't tell me if they do. I'm just saying, I'm assuming that they don't. But Newman having hacked Sharon, having her code basically, there's always the opportunity that Sharon could come back. She was just a program after all. And obviously, I've opened up down here across the next 2 years, or I'm sorry, the next 5 to 6 years. Macross 7.
2024 to 46, yeah.
Yeah, I've got my, like, since we're doing this all in chronological order, I've got my little
Mhm.
notepad that says what years things happen in. Specifically, it shows, I mean, obviously not what years. I don't know when the Delta War happened until I saw that thing.
Hmm.
Anyway, final
Oh,
wrap up thoughts?
I'm still liking the whole thing. I like the original series. I certainly like the movie. The movie does make some improvements, as we talked about. But overall, it again, it's one of the problems having with Macross is that a lot of this stuff kind of requires that you see the original material. Otherwise, you miss a lot of things. Zero, not so much. But even then, Zero kind of is like you pick up a lot of stuff that's happening if you know the basics of what's going on. But all of the other ones, well, SDF1, of course, because it's the original series, you're going to have anything before that. But after SDF1, you kind of need to have at least a passing knowledge of what's going on. Otherwise, it's like, why is this ship important? Why is a Macross this big ship important? Why is it, why are they going back to Earth? What is this, 30th anniversary of a war
Oh
that we
yeah, I
never know
cannot
about?
imagine watching Macross Plus, the movie or the OVA, by itself. Like, why are we going? Okay, what's this giant? How is nobody talking about this giant robot thing on Earth at the very
Yeah.
end of the movie? What the fuck was that thing? What, you mean the Macross? How do
Yeah.
you fucking even know that? You know it's part of a series, right? No? You
Yeah,
know?
it can be like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying watching it chronologically because
Mm.
it's not always like they think about these things, but I like the sense of going through it in a time scale where, like, what the fuck does this mean? And not being left on, like, well, what was the last fucking show in the series? They're never going to explain it. No, I'm watching chronological order. I don't know what this means, but I've got 7 more shows to watch. So eventually, this might get answered.
Might be in the operational word there.
Right, but I like the option exists versus like, well, this is the last thing we're watching. I don't even remember what questions I had from 6 shows ago, but I'm upset that this thing left me on a cliffhanger. I'm not going to get that until, I can say that I've gotten that. Anyway.
Those are my thoughts.
All right. Well, this has been our reaction to Macross Plus, the movie. Join us again if you're watching this in the playlist for next time when we start our series watch of Macross 7. Until then, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stone-Faced Reactions. We'll catch you next time.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?